Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We start out this hour with comedy. Ann Sothern, in a role she made famous in the motion pictures, The Adventures of Maisie. This MGM program was originally broadcast March 8th, 1951, and is entitled Merton's Dreams.
Hiya, babe. Say, how about... Ouch!
Does that answer your question, buddy?
The Adventures of Maisie, starring Ann Sothern. You all remember Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's famous Maisie pictures. In just a moment, you'll hear Maisie in radio, starring the same glamorous star you all went to see and loved on the screen, Ann Sothern. And now here's Ann Sothern as Maisie.
Yep, I'm Maisie, like the fellow just said. Maisie Revere from Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn. When I'm away from it, I miss hearing that beautiful accent purring in my ears. And of course, I miss Eddie. Eddie Jordan's the good-looking, sweet-talking, lovable, lazy, no-good bum I'm engaged to. We're going to get married as soon as he gets a little money. But it's not easy because he's allergic to work and too nervous to be a burglar. But it's nice to be back in Brooklyn in Mrs. Kennedy's rooming house where we both live. If you can call it living. Eddie and I both have been looking for jobs, but when I come back, Eddie's always home before, sitting in the sitting room, taking it easy. Like now, for instance.
Hi, doll. How are you?
Don't ask me, I might tell you. What a day.
Oh, you look gorgeous, Dreamboat. Any luck today?
No. And you know, I ought to have my head examined for going to see that psychiatrist. The things he expects of a receptionist. How about you?
No luck, Maisie. There wasn't anything at the Kelly Employment Agency, so I walked all over town looking for work.
Really, Eddie?
Sure, doll. You don't think I'd lie to you, do you?
Yes.
Oh, fine. Here I am beating my feet off to get a job so we can get married and settle down. You accuse me of lying to you.
I don't know why I ever doubt you, Eddie. Except you're such a stinker sometimes.
I forgive you. Sit down right here in my lap, Luscious.
Oh, Eddie, you're such a sweet guy, and I... Ouch!
What's the matter?
There's something in your vest pocket that's sticking into me. Let's see.
No, never mind. I'll get it.
Never mind, I've got it. It's a nice, fresh hunk of pool chalk.
Okay. So I was playing Kelly pool today and got a hot tip and lost $10.
Oh.
But you ought to be ashamed of yourself for not trusting me.
Well, how can I trust you when you never tell me the truth?
So what? You gotta trust a guy anyway.
Oh.
I'm going to my room.
What a man.
Maisie, where are you, Maisie?
In the sitting room.
Oh, gee, Maisie, I've been wanting to talk to you all day.
Oh. What's it about?
Oh, somebody who's very much interested in you?
You mean my boyfriend, Eddie Jordan?
Oh, no, I mean your silent lover. Me, Merton Falsgruber.
Oh. Well, what's the trouble, Mike?
Maisie, can I ask you a frank question?
Everybody else does. Why should you be an exception? But I warn you, the usual answer to the usual question is usually no.
Well, Maisie, did you ever have the feeling that you were a little nuts?
No, but my friends get that feeling about me all the time.
No. I mean, did anything weird ever happen to you?
Constantly.
Uh-huh.
But never mind. What's your problem?
Well, Maisie, I've been bothered by dreams.
Blondes, brunettes, or redheads?
No, regular dreams. And they sort of come true. One night I dream about something. The next day it happens.
Oh. Give me a for instance.
Well, 2 days ago, I dreamt that your boyfriend, Eddie Jordan, would lose his job. Yesterday, he lost it.
Oh, that's not being psychic. Eddie's just running true to form.
Oh, and I dreamed that our landlady, Mrs. Kennedy, would get in a fight with her boyfriend on the way home tonight, but that hasn't had time to come true yet.
Gee, Merton, All you have to do is give Mrs. Kennedy a couple of days and she's sure to get into a fight with somebody. Now, I wouldn't worry about your dreams.
Well, I had another dream. I dreamt that you kissed me.
Merton.
Huh.
You're a real nice kid and I like you a lot, but that dream isn't coming true.
Oh, you might as well kiss me, Maisie. You're going to sooner or later. It's fate.
Hey, what's going on here? Well, it's Merton, my competition.
Ah, your father's mustache.
Your sister smokes a pipe.
Your mother wears army shoes.
Boys, one would think to hear you talk that you didn't come from families of breeding and culture, which you didn't.
Maisie, I came back to forgive you.
Well, thank you.
Tell me, what's this character trying to do, romance you?
Uh-huh.
Sure I was. At least I think I was.
So what else is new?
Eddie, aren't you even a little jealous?
Nah.
But he was making love to me.
So what, Maisie?
Hey, wait a minute.
Eddie, I'm talking about wild, passionate love. Get mad already.
Maisie, for gosh sakes, I don't want to get in a fight over some fun I never had.
Okay, so I was just kidding. But Merton here said he had a dream that I was going to kiss him.
Yeah, and my dreams have all been coming true lately.
That's impossible. Any fool knows that.
Okay, so you know it. I also dreamt that Mrs. Kennedy would get into a fight with her boyfriend this afternoon, but she hasn't come...
losing all the electricity in the sitting room.
Oh, it's Eddie and Merton and me, Mrs. Kennedy.
Oh, what's going on? Are you fellows changing shifts?
No, we're just talking.
Say, Mrs. Kennedy, can I ask you a personal question?
If it's about the plumbing in this house, my answer is no. I'm not going to buy a bigger water heater.
No, I think Merton wanted to ask how you were getting along with your boyfriend, Lester.
Oh. I'm not going to tell you. Oh, dear.
Why, Mrs. Kennedy?
Oh, gee, it doesn't look as though she had a fight, does it?
I guess you and Lester are getting along pretty well, hey, Mrs. Kennedy?
Yes, just beautifully. Today we had the most wonderful fight. Oh, it was so much fun making up afterward. Oh, dear.
Hey, she had a fight after all.
Well, I wasn't going to let anybody call me a creaking old crow. Especially somebody I was deeply in love with. So I slugged him. He picked up a lamp and hit me with it, and I stuck his nose in the light socket. Speaking of lights, I'll turn these off in here.
Oh, it's dark.
Oh, well, I like it this way. Come here, baby. Give your Eddie a nice big kiss.
Eddie Merton's here.
Who cares about Merton? Besides, it's dark. Come on, love boat. Come to your dream boat.
Oh, Eddie, let go of me. Oh, all right. Here's just one kiss.
Hey, Maisie, you're not kissing me.
Huh? Well, I just kissed somebody.
Yippee! My dream came true.
Holy smoke. Maybe the kid's got something.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Merton.
Hello, Merton.
Drop dead, Merton.
Thank you. Gee, Maisie, I dreamt about you last night.
Well, I hope I come true. Say, do you know, Mrs. Kennedy, Merton dreamed night before last that you would have a fight with your boyfriend, and sure enough, you did.
Let me know when you dream about something more interesting.
And I had another dream, too. But this time, it was about a horse race.
Huh?
Who won?
Who won?
Well, you know how it is at the races. Everybody was yelling and screaming, and, well, I couldn't hear very well. But the horse was called, Dirty Shoes, I think.
Dirty Shoes.
Wait just a minute. I happen to know what's running today. And the horses are called Dirty Neck, Dirty Gertie, and Dirty Story. But there doesn't happen to be any dirty shoes. Right?
Oh.
Oh, well, that's a fine tip, Merton.
Well, come to think of it, that horse wasn't named Dirty Shoes after all. Huh. Now I'm not sure what it was. Isn't that funny? Bye.
Oh, the poor kid.
What's the matter?
With a personality like that, he isn't going to live very long. Oh, boy, another murderous day.
I'm dead. I'm not used to this.
I know. This is the first time you've gone out to look for work that you've actually looked for work.
Honest, Maisie, I don't spend much time playing pool.
No. Well, every time anybody handed you a pencil today, you started to chalk the end of it.
Oh, well, that's just a nervous habit from my childhood.
I know. And you're still in it.
160, 180, 200, 10, 15...
Mrs. Kennedy, what have you done? Robbed a liquor store?
Oh, hello, children. You know that... Excuse me. That tip we got on a horse from Merton Falls, Gruber?
Yeah?
Maisie, I told you. We should have bet on Dirty Neck.
Will you kindly have the courtesy to let me... continue my story?
Yeah, well, what happened, Mrs. Kennedy?
Brother, am I loaded with money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I looked over the horses racing in Florida, and I said, Mrs. Kennedy, I always call myself Mrs. Kennedy. Mrs. Kennedy, I said, you might just as well, make a jackass out of yourself and bet on this horse. This is obviously the right one. Oh, the heck with it.
Well, was the horse named Dirty Shoes?
No, dearie. It was called Muddy Boots.
Boing.
Well, I'm going upstairs and get dressed. I'm going to hoop it up tonight.
Holy smoke, Eddie, he was right again.
Yeah, Maisie. Say, maybe we could promote Merton.
Promote him?
Yeah. All we need is 3 or 4 good dreams from Merton, and we can clean up.
Oh, you mean enough to get married on, maybe, huh?
Why not?
Oh, Eddie, you think of the most romantic ideas.
Hello, folks.
Oh, Merton, darling.
Hello, old buddy, old pal.
What's the matter with everybody?
Why, nothing's the matter, Merton.
Everybody's acting so nice to me.
Well, Merton, Mrs. Kennedy cleaned up on that horse you dreamed about, and you just got to do some more dreaming for me.
Oh, gee, Maisie, you know that I'd do anything for you.
Well, we need a couple of more horses.
Get lost.
Now, listen, you
Eddie,
little...
please, you are speaking of the dreamer I love.
Haha, you see? Do you mean that, Maisie?
Well, we'll discuss that later when we're all rich.
Yeah.
Now, how about squeezing out a quick little dream right now?
Sure. Only I'm not sleepy.
Come on, Eddie, I need your help. Lie down on the couch, Merton.
Okay.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Well, we got to put this boy to sleep. Tell him how you used to be a football star in high school.
Are you insinuating that my football stories are boring?
I'm guaranteeing it. In the meantime, I'll be singing. All aboard for Blanket Bay. Well, go ahead, Eddie.
Well, you see, I was pretty light when I went out for the team, but I was fast. The coach took one look at me and said, Jordan, you're fast, you're smart, but the first time you're tackled, you'll break in two. I just laughed at him and...
That was a beautiful job. He's sleeping like a baby.
Yeah, but I feel fine.
Merton, we just got to get a couple of dreams that'll come true out of you tonight.
Well, I don't feel sleepy at all.
Oh. Eddie! Eddie! Wake up.
Huh?
Hello, everybody. I'm going out now.
You going out with Lester again?
Don't be silly. I've got money tonight, and I can afford a better class of boyfriend. Oh, Merton, here's a little present for the tip on the horse.
Oh, gee, thanks, Mrs. Kennedy.
Goodbye now.
Oh, you see, Merton? You're starting to make money already. Mrs. Kennedy was so grateful she gave you $1.
Yeah, and to think I earned it sleeping.
Oh, come on, Eddie. We've got to introduce Merton to the Sandman.
Oh, no, Maisie. I'm so excited about this, I don't think I'll ever go to sleep again.
Oh.
The Adventures of Maisie, starring Ann Sothern, will continue in just a moment.
March 8th, 1951, The Adventures of Maisie, starring Ann Sothern here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now more of The Adventures of Maisie, starring Ann Sothern, March 8th, 1951.
And now, back to Maisie.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, no. How could I get sleepy dancing with you? Maisie, gee, this is the most exciting time I've ever had in my life.
Some exciting.
Merton, I've got a great idea.
Yeah?
What you and I need is a good workout. I know a private gym where you and I can put on the gloves and do a little boxing. How about it?
Merton, I think Eddie's got a good idea there. The sparring will put you right to sleep. If Eddie doesn't do it first. Keep your left out there, Merton.
Yeah.
Watch out for his right hook.
Watch.
Shift your weight when you punch. Be careful, Eddie. He's fast. You're open for a right, Eddie. Merton, you're wide open for a straight left. Okay. Pick him up and take him to the showers, Merton.
Okay, I'll be back in a minute.
Sit down, please.
Thank you, Doctor.
Now, which one of you is the patient? Oh, here we are. Slight doses of the eyelids, hands shaking a bit, nose twitching a little, eyes rather red.
I am not the patient.
I am.
And I'll get to you later. This case is more interesting.
But we don't care about him, Doctor.
You're rather interesting, too. Ooh, very interesting now that you're standing in the light.
Doctor, never mind Eddie. What we want is a prescription for a couple of sleeping pills for Merton here.
Please, my dear young lady, I do the diagnosing and prescribing around here. And for you, I would suggest a long, relaxing drive in the country, then back to town for a dinner in some tiny, intimate little restaurant, then the theater. All this, of course, in the company of an intelligent, older, professional man. Are you interested?
No, but I can see you are. You're drooling a little.
Oh, excuse me.
And while you're at it, you might pop your eyes back in where they belong.
Can I help it if they want to look and live a little?
Oh.
Now then, you're the patient,
Yeah.
If I gave him a sleeping pill, what difference would it make? What's the idea back of all this?
Well, you see, Doctor, when he's asleep, he has dreams.
And the dreams come true.
Yeah, that's right, Doctor. A lot of my dreams come true.
I see. You believe that, do you?
Oh, sure.
Well. And you believe it, too?
Of course I do.
Well, two of you. And you?
Oh, well, I suppose you think we're all a little nuts.
You suppose I think so, eh? Oh, that's very amusing.
Yes. Now, please, Doctor, we're not kidding about this. Merton has dreams that come true. He dreamt about a horse race last night, and it came in and paid over 20 to 1.
Yeah, of course it did. Certainly. Tell me, have you ever been in a room alone and heard voices?
Well, certainly, lots of times.
Uh-huh. And do you know why you heard the voices?
Sure, because the radio was on.
Yeah, I see. Step into this room.
Okay.
Yeah, after you.
Holy smoke, we're out in the hall again.
Hey, Doc!
Well, that did it. We might as well go home.
Oh, I guess he thought we were nuts, huh?
You know something? I'm beginning to wonder if he isn't right. Well, here we are again.
Yeah.
I still feel wide awake.
Two sleepy people in Merton, the greatest untapped source of wealth outside of Texas.
You know, I think I'll try to dream about the stock market sometime.
Oh, well, the sooner the better, Merton. And make it an inexpensive stock, will you please?
You know, I feel so good, I'll bet I can jump from here to the top step on the porch.
I'll bet I can get to the top step on the porch if I crawl on my hands and knees.
Hey, watch this, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Hey, I'm losing my balance. Look out!
Merton! Holy smoke, what a tumble.
Well, luckily he fell on his head. Merton, are you all right? Merton.
Maisie, he's out cold.
Oh, what a break. Quick, Eddie, take him upstairs and put him to bed.
Yeah, right away.
And see that you take his shoes off. We want him to be real comfortable and dream up the best dream he can think of.
What's the matter with that guy?
Why hasn't he come down yet?
Oh, don't be impatient, Eddie. Remember, he's been dreaming little dreams for us.
So I wonder what he's dreamed up. March 8th, 1951, Ann Sothern, The Adventures of Maisie, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll hear the conclusion, along with the fourth part of the yours truly Johnny Dollar story, The Plantagenet Matter. But first, we have some very important messages from your favorite radio station. Hope you'll hang right in there, and we shall return in just a moment. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Mike Lindell and MyPillow launching the MyPillow 2.0. Now, when Mike invented MyPillow, it had everything you could want in a pillow. Now, nearly 20 years later, he's discovered a new technology that makes MyPillow even better. Of course, the patented adjustable fill of the original MyPillow, but now with brand new fabric with a temperature-regulating thread, it's the softest, smoothest, and coolest pillow you'll ever own. Say goodbye to tossing and turning and flipping your pillow over in the middle of the night. And more great news on the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer with my promo code Wyatt. MyPillow 2.0 is 100% made in the USA, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to receive the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer. Use my promo code Wyatt or call 1-800-928-4715. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of The Adventures of Maisie, Ann Sothern, March 8th, 1951.
Psst. Here he comes now. He's coming downstairs.
Oh, at last.
You better have something good or I'll... Hello, Merton, old pal.
Good morning, Merton.
Hello, Merton.
Huh? Merton? Who's Merton?
Huh? What's the matter, kid?
Who's Merton? And who are you people? Hey, where am I?
Now, look here.
Eddie. Oh, don't you know where you are, Merton? This is Mrs. Kennedy's rooming house. Yes. That's Eddie, I'm Maisie, and this is Mrs. Kennedy.
You remember me, don't you?
I've never seen any of you people before.
My gosh. He's got amnesia.
You're right. He doesn't even know who he is.
Well, don't you even remember me, Merton?
Well, who are you? My wife? Come here, baby.
Now, look, Merton, keep your hands to yourself. What are you, an octopus already?
Who's this Merton you keep talking about? Who?
That's you, Merton Falsgruber.
Nobody but a jerk would have a name like that.
I think he's beginning to recognize himself.
Look, Merton, did you happen to have any interesting dreams last night?
Yeah. Come here, baby.
I mean any other dreams.
Yeah, sure. I had a dream that I think is going to come true. But I don't know you people, and I don't trust you.
Not even me?
Well, could we discuss this privately?
Excuse us a minute, Eddie and Mrs. Kennedy. Right in here, Merton.
After you, Miss Revere.
That little so-and-so.
Now, don't worry, Eddie. He's harmless. Egad. At least he used to be harmless. I wonder if Maisie will find out what his dream was.
I wonder if it'll be worth it if she does.
You know, I think that boy's growing up now. Last week he took down his pictures of Hopalong Cassidy and put up pictures of Esther Williams and Nana Turner.
Oh! Hey, what's going on in there?
They're probably just chatting.
Wow.
What kind of conversation is that?
You want to find out what his dream was, don't you?
Sure, certainly, but...
Oh, I know. You're torn between love for Maisie and love for money.
Yeah, there's only one right thing to do.
That's right, Eddie.
Love that money.
Wait a minute. When they went into the sitting room, didn't he say, after you, Miss Revere?
Yeah, so what?
If he's got amnesia, how would he know her name was Revere?
I've been robbed. Hey, open up in there. I know you're faking, Merton. They don't answer. Maisie, he's faking. He hasn't got amnesia.
Now, hurry up, Merton, or you'll be late to the office.
Just a minute, you.
Well, goodbye now.
Oh, he's a cute kid. You can't blame him, Eddie.
Oh, what about the dream?
Well, it's a funny thing. We were talking about the stock market in Texas just before he slipped and knocked himself out.
And he dreamed up a stock?
Yep. We got to find a stock called Texas Oil and put everything we've got into it. Hello? Yeah, that's right, Texas Oil. Well, what did it do today?
What'd he say? What'd he say?
Did it go up? What'd he say, Maisie?
Will you be quiet already? I can't hear him. Hello? What did you say again? Okay, thanks.
What happened?
It went up 3 points.
Oh,
gee, that's great,
isn't
Maisie.
it wonderful?
Then it went down 3.5 points.
Oh.
Well, at least it's active.
Yeah, it's sort of quivering.
Maisie, you couldn't be wrong about this, could you?
Well, he said it was something like Texas Oil.
Well, we've got to give it a chance to start rising. You know, he's been right so far.
Anybody home?
Oh, here we are, Merton.
Boy, it was great, wasn't it? I never thought I'd ever be so lucky.
Somehow I don't like the sound of this.
We're lucky about what, Merton?
Look at that wad. The dream came true again. I won $835.
Oh!
You won it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Merton, you won it on what?
It's right here in the paper. I put all the money I had on this horse in the 5th at Hialeah.
What's the name of that horse?
Oh, my gosh. The horse is called the Earl of Texas.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Merton, I thought you said Earl, O-I-L.
Oh, no, Maisie, you got it wrong. What I said was oil. E-A-R-L. Oil.
Oh, no.
And now, once again, here's Maisie.
Well, I should have known if I fooled with the market would have fooled me right back. And instead of being a stockholder or a bondholder, as usual, I turned out to be a bag holder. We didn't lose too much. We sold the stock the next day, and the day after it went up 10 points. Merton was so happy about winning all that money that he threw a banquet for everybody, gave himself a terrific stomachache, and never had another dream that came true. As for my boyfriend, Eddie, well, I should have guessed what would happen. He claims if Merton could have dreams that come true, he could too. And he hasn't been out of bed for a week. Well, I gotta find some kind of a job. Come on, Fig. Get moving.
You've just heard The Adventures of Maisie, starring Ann Sothern. Maisie was written by John L. Green. Original music was composed and conducted by Harry Zimmerman. Supporting cast included Sidney Miller, Elvia Allman, Pat McGeehan, and Frank Nelson. Jack McCoy speaking.
March 8th, 1951, The Adventures of Maisie on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
From Hollywood, it's time now for
Johnny Dollar.
This is Mr. Oldfield calling, sir. You left word at my office, Mr. Dollar?
That's right, Mr. Oldfield. I think I'm going to need an attorney.
Divorce, civil suit, what, Mr. Dollar?
Withholding evidence. Murder.
Let's take the murder first. Who did it?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I have the murder weapon in my possession right now.
Who was killed?
A man named Belden, I think.
What do you want me to do, sir?
Take my statement, notarize it, give me some legal advice.
Where are you?
Police station in the pay booth down the hall from homicide.
I'll meet you there in 5 minutes.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar. Location, Vicksburg, Virginia. To Special Investigator Johnny Dollar for personal reasons. Attention, Chief Accountant, Eastern Seaboard Casualty Insurance Corporation, Providence, Rhode Island. Dear Jim, I'm attaching my own expense sheet to your bill for clarification purposes. Expense account item 10, 10 cents. 1 cup of coffee at the counter in the lobby of the Vicksburg Police Station while I waited for Samuel W. Oldfield, attorney at law, to appear. He was there in exactly 5 minutes.
Mr. Dollar?
That's right.
Sam Oldfield, sir.
You're the only one here in the lobby, so I figured you were the right man.
Yeah. Cup of coffee, Mr. Oldfield?
No thanks. Gives me heartburn. But now sit down, will you? That was a pretty interesting phone call. Tell me, who are you, sir?
Johnny Dollar. I'm a private insurance investigator.
Mm-hmm. How'd you get my name?
I looked it up in the yellow pages of the telephone directory.
You don't live here in Vicksburg?
No, I'm from Hartford, Connecticut.
All right, sir. Now, tell me about the murder and the withholding of information.
Maybe I better start from the top.
Go right ahead any way you like.
Well, 2 days ago, I flew down here to investigate a small burglary at the Plantagenet Hotel. It was already solved by the time my plane got in.
Police?
Yeah. I had nothing better to do, so I waited around the hotel bar for my return reservation back to Hartford. Then I happened to walk outside of the parking lot for a breath of fresh air. I saw a woman and a man standing there arguing. When I got close to them, the woman asked me to help her. I did.
How do you mean?
Well, the man she was with started to act like a kid. He got rough. So I shoved him away.
Go on.
Well, the woman was upset, so I took her inside the hotel and bought her a drink. After that, I put her in a cab and started to send her on her way. She started to act sick about that.
Wait. Is this the woman whose picture was in the paper tonight? The one who died of poisoning and the police don't know who she is?
Yeah. I don't know who she is, Mr. Oldfield. Except that her name's Amy Duran. I found out her name because I found her purse and there was a gun in it. A .38 Colt registered to a man named O'Connell. I checked on the gun here at headquarters, went out to the address and found out O'Connell was a bank guard and had died about a year ago. I talked to his wife, Teresa O'Connell. While I was there, the man I'd seen the night before showed up. His name's Paul Dameron. Now, I didn't tell him or Mrs. O'Connell about the gun. I came down here to give it to the police and tell them. But when I got here, Lieutenant Akins was pretty busy trying to solve the murder of a man named Belden, who'd been shot with a .38 3 times. There are 3 slugs missing from the gun I found.
You got a light, sir?
Yeah. Here you go.
When you found Amy Duran's purse, why didn't you turn it over to the police?
Oh, I thought Well, somehow I thought maybe I could help the girl. I mean, her last words before she died were, "Help me." And for some reason or other, I thought maybe I could.
You have any cards or letters, anything like that? Something that says you're what you say you are, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. Okay, Dollar. Now, as I see it, you probably hooked up with someone who did some shooting. And that's what worries you.
I want you to take my statement and notarize it before I turn the gun in.
That'll protect you some. If they want to get nasty, they can, though. You know that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, as I see it, the main job here is to try to keep you out of trouble. And a statement explaining your motive for participation in the whole affair might help.
That's why I called you.
All right, then. Now, Dollar.
Yeah?
You didn't shoot anybody, did you?
No.
Okay, then, sir. Let's go over to my office.
We did, and I made the necessary statement, and Mr. Oldfield notarized it. After that, I went back to the Vicksburg police station to talk to Lieutenant Akins. The .38 I'd found in Amy Duran's purse was still in my pocket, and her words were still in my mind. Help me. Please help me.
Thought you was going back to Hartford, Dollar.
Oh, I decided to hang around and see what came up.
Mm-hmm. Nothing so far on the girl. No one's recognized a picture in the paper. Had to turn that over to missing persons. This murder case going to eat up all my time.
What happened, Lieutenant?
Old maid at the apartment house where this man Belden was staying found him late this afternoon. He'd been dead about 24 hours, shot with a .38.
You sure?
I'm sure. We did a postmortem right away. It's a pretty set case.
You know who shot him?
Have a pretty good idea. See, this Belden, he was an auditor working on some books at a firm of textile wholesalers here. Richmond Limited. The papers scattered around his apartment show he'd found a $10,000 shortage going over their books. And the chief accountant for this Richmond company is missing.
Yeah, well, that does make it seem pretty clean.
Yeah, all we have to do is find that accountant. Had an APB out for half an hour now. I think we'll pick her up pretty soon.
Her? Who?
Well, her, Dollar. The chief accountant for Richmond Limited. She's a woman. Name of, Amy Duran.
To all appearances, Amy Duran had been guilty of embezzling money and murdering the auditor Belden who discovered the shortages in her books. I didn't tell Akins that his suspect was the girl lying in the morgue at the moment unidentified. I knew that it was only a matter of minutes before her sister or Paul Dameron would be down to identify her. And for the third time, I didn't tell Lieutenant Akins about the gun. I knew if I turned that over to him, it would be a closed case all around. And somehow I didn't want it closed on Amy Duran. Not that way. For that reason, I went back to my hotel room for a couple of hours, and then about 9 o'clock that night, I found myself over on Polk Street at Teresa O'Connell's house once more.
Oh.
Hello, Mrs. O'Connell.
Oh, Mr. Dollar, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Dollar, I had the most awful news tonight. My sister Amy, she's dead. You'll have to excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry.
May I come in? I'd like to talk to you about your sister, Mrs. O'Connell.
Well, Paul came in with tonight's paper and showed me Amy's picture. He went down to the morgue to identify her. I couldn't bear to.
Sure.
I feel somehow, in some way, that you're a friend, Mr. Dollar.
Mrs. O'Connell, I am a friend in a way. But mostly I'm an insurance investigator.
What?
You thought I was a friend of your dead husband when I came here earlier. I'm not. I never even knew him.
But, Mr. Dollar, I don't understand.
I met your sister Amy last night. I was the last one to speak to her before she died. I took her to the emergency hospital last night.
Well, wait. This is all very confusing. You say you're an insurance investigator?
Yes. Now, Well, I got your address from a gun I found in your sister's purse. I traced it through the license to carry. This gun, Mrs. O'Connell. Your husband was licensed to carry it when he worked for a banking firm. Do you recognize it?
Oh, yes, I suppose I do. I think it's one of Ray's guns.
Now, please, let me find something out first. Believe me, I do want to help. Did you know your sister had this gun?
Oh, no. What would Amy want with a gun? I mean, well, she could have picked it up here any time she came over, and probably did. But why would Amy have a gun in her purse?
Sit down, please. Now, Mrs. O'Connell, you better listen to me carefully. Sometime late yesterday afternoon or early evening, a man named Belden was shot and killed.
Clarence Belden?
Yes.
Why, he worked with an auditing firm. Amy spoke of him. Mr. Dollar.
Wait. Listen to the rest of this. Belden had been working on books for Richmond Limited. As I understand it, your sister Amy was responsible for those books. Right now, the police have enough evidence to figure that your sister stole $10,000 from Richmond Limited.
Amy? Oh, no.
Now, hear me out, Mrs. O'Connell. They have that evidence in bulk form. They certainly have reason to assume, and they are assuming, that your sister shot Belden to keep him quiet about the shortage.
How can you say those things about Amy when she's not here to defend herself?
Please, I'm just telling you what's going on downtown, what they've found. This gun they don't have yet. I've withheld it. It has been fired 3 times recently. Belden was shot 3 times. By now, your sister's body has no doubt been identified. They've already established that she died of poisoning, and they halfway have the idea that she committed suicide.
No.
Oh, don't you see? They'll say she shot Belden to cover up and keep it quiet, and then saw how useless it was, took poison and killed herself to escape punishment.
You're horrible. Horrible. Go away. Go away from me.
I'm sorry, but in the face of all this, I want to help her if I can, if it isn't too late. I want to help you. But, Mrs. O'Connell, you'll have to help me. Now, why? Why would your sister steal? Why?
I don't know.
I think you do know. Tell me, please, for her sake, Mrs. O'Connell.
Why? What have you got to do with her?
I met her only for a few minutes, but in that few minutes, I got the idea that she was a pretty nice person. She didn't strike me as a thief. She didn't look like a killer. And most of all, she didn't look like a woman who'd take the suicide way out of things. Now, that's all I have, except that she asked me to help her. And I'm trying to do that now. Believe me, I want to help her if I can.
I've always been an awful child, Mr. Dollar. When Ray died, I tried to kill myself. Amy saved me. I remember then, at the hospital. She was beside my bed, and she said to me, "I'll make you want to live again. I'll make you." Amy was always like that, kind and decent. You weren't wrong about her. She was decent, thoughtful, good. She did everything for me. She gave me these clothes and a car, introduced me to nice people from her office like Paul Dameron.
Yes.
That must be where all the money went to. Not on herself, but on me, for me. I'm the only reason I can think of that she'd take money from the firm.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was stealing from me. I didn't know. I wouldn't have let her do it. She didn't have to pamper me that much. I'm not that much of a child. She didn't have to do it. She didn't have to do it.
Wait a minute.
She didn't kill herself. She didn't steal. She didn't murder that man. I did all those things because it was all for me.
Now, here's our star to tell you about the final intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, all the evidence comes true. A helpless dead girl gets her help. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by John Dawson, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
From March 8th, 1956, Part 4 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Plantagenet Matter, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Hope you will visit our webpage, classicradio.stream. Stream our shows, learn about classic radio collecting. You can contact me, find our social media links, and if you want to support us, help us acquire additional shows, you can buy me a coffee. All at classicradio.stream. Thank this station, support their advertisers, tell your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.